Dave Palumbo with an RX Muscle news update. Reports on the internet have come in and the story has been posted. I heard this a few days ago and confirmation has come through the other day that Billy Sullivan, aka the Breadman, the man who is responsible for P28 bread and peanut butter, has been arrested upstate New York. Over $3 million worth of cocaine and 135 pounds of marijuana has been confiscated from his personal, I guess you could say, stash. We hate to hear these things happen in our industry. More so, the way this all went down was kind of crazy. We have a lot of interesting characters in our industry. I've known Billy Sullivan for many, many years now. I remember when he first started P28 Bread, they used to send me every week, they would send me free loaves of bread. I'd interviewed the guy before multiple times. I believe the last time was at the Atlantic City Pro Show 2 years ago. And he was a good guy. He loved bodybuilding. He was an IFBB pro men's physique athlete. He gave a lot back to the industry. He certainly sponsored a lot of events, and it's sad to find out what happened. But the whole thing went down so crazy. I mean, I gotta take this apart, piece by piece at this point. He's 38 years old now. He was arrested Friday by Onondaga County Sheriff's Office. The way he got caught was that he had a domestic violence, I guess, report, and that's probably a nice way of saying what happened. And what happened was completely insane. He obviously got into a fight with his wife, who I had met. They have a child together. She's 26 years old. And he bound his wife up. I actually have a tear in my eye because this is so crazy. With duct tape, he put her in a plastic bag inside of a box into his trunk. And this could have ended very terribly. I mean, she could have died, obviously, and we would be talking about murder now rather than just, drug trafficking. Obviously, he drove around with her all day in the trunk, according to the reports. Then he let her go, and obviously she called 911. Now, I don't know what he was thinking, what she was going to do. She was just going to not call the cops on him after that. That was not very rational thinking right there, which leads me to believe that, he might have been, using drugs as well. And the old saying, don't get high on your own supply. When you are using drugs, you're not thinking rationally. And I have to believe that he was having a lapse of sanity, because this is a guy who, was a stable guy as far as I knew. I talked to him many, many times, seen him in many shows. I never got the idea that this guy was a kooky lunatic who would put his wife in the trunk of their car and then drive around with her all day, to punish her for whatever reason he thought she needed to be punished for, especially not the mother of his child, So it seems insane, actually, and obviously it was. And when they, I guess, executed a search warrant on him, what they found was more than they bargained for. They found 55 pounds of cocaine. That's like more than 25 kilos, okay? Guys go to jail for 1 kilo of cocaine, okay? They go to jail for 5 years. I was in prison with one of those guys. So this is 25 pounds. This is 55 pounds of cocaine, 25 kilos probably. He had 135 pounds of marijuana, which sounds like a shitload of marijuana. But the charges for marijuana are much less, obviously, than cocaine. Now, with all this volume, he had to have been getting it from some other state. It had to be coming into the country. So that becomes a federal crime right off the bat. So that's not good. They also found $90,000 in cash, which could have been a lot more, obviously, moving that kind of volume. He was arrested at night and he was charged with a million things. He's actually being held without bail. I guess he's a flight risk, especially if you're selling that kind of volume, you could have cash stashed away. Now, people are asking themselves, maybe, what happens when someone gets arrested with this much stuff? Well, one of two things can happen. He's either going to cooperate with them and help them find and bust someone bigger than him, in which case he would probably get a reduced sentence, or he's going to go to jail for a very long time. Probably, from my friends I've talked to who are into drugs, they say, 10 to 15 years. I think he's facing more than 20, to be honest with you, with that kind of volume, especially if he's not going to cooperate. Now, what came to my mind right off the bat was, what would possess a guy who's selling this kind of drug volume to do this to his wife? Not even like a stranger, to his wife. Like, where did he think this was going to go? Did he think he was not going to get arrested, or that the cops wouldn't come to his house at least and question him after something like this happened? It doesn't make sense. Something doesn't register on this whole thing, which leads me to believe the drugs were involved, because people don't think rationally when they're all speeded out and they're not sleeping. It almost seems like that scene from Goodfellas at the end, where the helicopters are overhead and everything, he has to go here and deliver the cocaine here and pick it up here, and he's going to get money, he's got to take his kids, he's got to cook dinner. That's what the scene sounds like of the night that he was arrested. Like, it was just a crazy whirlwind day, and then it ended with this, cops coming and arresting him and another guy. What is our industry coming to? I don't know. It seems like it's always a week of blockbuster stories. The Rich Piana autopsy report comes out, and a day later we see Billy Breadman being arrested. Sad day in our sport. Sorry to see Billy go down. Obviously, he wasn't living the kind of life that was an honest life, that's for sure. And hopefully P28, the company itself, will not go out of business because of this. They got some good products. I do like their products. I love their bread, I like their bagels, and I also like their peanut butter. So we'll see what's going to happen. Maybe there's some other guys involved in ownership of that can keep it going. Billy, hang in there. I don't know if you'll ever see this video, but it's going to be a long decade or two you got coming up there. Hopefully you'll be able to muster the storm and maybe revise who you are as a human being and come out of this better than you were before. Dave Palumbo from RX Muscle News Update.